We are Blackboard. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. Rubber game of the series as the homestand comes to a close. A beautiful day at Busch Stadium. It's the Cincinnati Reds and the St. Louis Cardinals. With Brad Thompson, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Welcome to Cardinals baseball. The Cardinals pitching, for the most part, has been very good. We'll see if Luke Weaver, back in the rotation, can pitch well today.
Well, Luke Weaver has done a very good job so far out of the bullpen. He's taken to it out there. I mean, not exactly what he wanted, I'm sure, to get pulled out of the rotation, but he's throwing the ball very, very well and gets the opportunity yet again in a very important series. The Cardinals have a chance to win their 11th series in a row. The starting rotation has been very good. Hopefully Luke Weaver can add to that.
And if they can get to 11 series wins in a row, that would be a franchise record. How about the first 9 games against the Reds? The Cardinals went 9-0. A lot of offense, great pitching. Things have changed, though, in the last 9. 3-6. Runs have dropped, and the runs allowed have risen. This guy may win a batting championship. That's Jose Martinez. Rick Horton, he'll break him down when we come back. by Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. By Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. And by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Pick your power, fuel, or battery with Steel. Search STIHL. Beautiful, gorgeous day for baseball. Rubber game, the Cardinals and the Reds. St. Louis trying to make it 11 straight series wins. First pitch comes up next. Busch Stadium. The Cincinnati Reds, the St. Louis Cardinals, along with Brad Thompson and Jim Hayes. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Warm, it's muggy, 89 degrees. And back in that starting lineup, the left fielder Marcell Ozuna. Last time we saw him was against the Dodgers off the DL. They're dealing with right shoulder issue, so he's back in the lineup. And the wild card, Milwaukee dropping a game late last night, if you missed it, to Washington, so the Cardinals still half game in front of the Brewers. Well, you hope that Luke Weaver is pounding that strike zone, especially early on.
Oh, no doubt. Hasn't made a start since August 16th. And you see the numbers on the year. Had a couple of games, 3 games out of the bullpen, 4 innings, very effective, looked good, and you hope that he's able to go out there, as you said, pound the strike zone. You see the fastball, the changeup. Doesn't use the curveball as much, but it's a good one when it's on. And you are absolutely right. It's all about pumping strikes.
Billy Hamilton at the top, then Peraza and Votto. Jeanette, Suarez, big year for him. Schebler, he's had a big weekend. Mason Williams, the left fielder. Kirk Casale behind the plate. Anthony DeSclafani. Jim Riggleman and the Reds pulling out a 4-0 win last night. Great pitching from Castillo. The bullpen held up that lead, and they would win it 4-0. So here we go with game number 3. First pitch just off the plate. And we're underway. Last start was August 16th for Luke Weaver. That was against the Nationals. 7 hits, 4 runs, 2 were earned in 3 2/3. And the Nationals won that game 5-4 to avoid a 4-game sweep.
The big key for Luke Weaver is just consistency. He's been looking for it. We've seen flashes of how great he can be. He's got a great future as a major league starter. It's just being able to put it together, start in, start out.
And the 1-2 pitch. First pitch of the game was barely off the plate, so it's good to see him inside the strike zone. And the 1-2 bounced 2 feet in front of the plate. Pitched fairly well out of the pen. 1 run in 4 innings. Two lifted in the air to right center. That ball will get down. And Hamilton thinking 2, and the throw back in quickly all the way to Luke Weaver. It's a leadoff double on a bloop from Billy Hamilton. That's what speed can do.
Well, you've got the outfield shading him the other direction. He's able to pull this thing in the gap. It hangs up there for a while. Harrison Bader, we know he runs as well as anybody in the league and can cover some ground. Just can't get to that one. And you know, as soon as that dropped, Billy Hamilton's going to be on second.
Weaver has seen the Reds back on April 13th, went 6 innings. Now, June 8th, he went 5 innings. Cardinals won both those games. Weaver picked up a victory. He's 7-11 this year. Here's Jose Barraza at the plate. Showing bunt and looks at a strike. Barraza just 2 for 12 against Weaver with 3 strikeouts. A guy that puts the ball in play a lot. 61 strikeouts for the year. As a matter of fact, hardest to strike out in the National League. Only 10.6% of the time.
I know that overall we look at strikeouts now a little bit differently than maybe in years past. Still believe it's incredibly important to put pressure on a defense. Make somebody do something. Make somebody catch it, throw it, catch it again. There's value in that.
Here's a 1-1. Hits it to the right side, so a productive out. Advancing Hamilton to third base, and it brings in Votto. Turn to Brad Thompson's Toyota, key to the game.
Well, the Cardinals in this one have an opportunity to make history, and this organization has been around a long time. They've done a lot of winning, but they have never won 11 series in a row, and that's what's hanging on this rubber game today against the Reds. An opportunity to win that 11th one. They've played great baseball and have an opportunity to make some history here today.
So Joey Votto, Cardinals bringing the infield in. See that more and more, infield in early on in games. And Votto hits it out of play. Interesting to watch how Patrick Wisdom is holding the runner on as if he's a first baseman at third.
Well, a guy like Hamilton, you want to make sure he's not getting any extra jump. He's got all the speed in the world, but if you're able to keep him just a little bit closer, it might be that fraction of an inch, that little step back, that's the difference between safe and out.
0-2. I have not seen a Cardinal third baseman do that with any other base runner this year. But it makes sense. Might get you that step or two that you save with the speed of Hamilton. And maybe, just maybe, you'd have a shot to get him at the plate. You know, more than likely, if contact is made, he's off.
Absolutely.
Nothing in 2. The count on Joey Votto. Struck out a couple of times in game 2. The check swing, and he did not go. The 1-2 pitch, and it's 2-2. Joey Votto on the year. Home runs have been down, along with the average and the runs batted in. Trying to give the Reds an early lead. 2-2 pitch inside. You have Scooter Gennett at the on deck circle, who's 5 for 11 against Weaver. Votto, by the way, just 1 for 9.
You see Weaver there trying to be very careful. There is room inside on Votto, and you see the way that he took the changeup before. He was waiting for it. He was ready. Saw it under the zone. He's a tough guy to punch out, even though he had a couple yesterday.
3-2 and just a bit low. Cardinals defensively in the ball game. Around the horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Ozuna, Bader, Martinez in the outfield. Wisdom, DeYoung, Garcia, Carpenter along the infield, and Molina behind the plate. Joey Votto has now drawn 22 walks against the Cardinals this year, his most against any opponent. And in the senior circuit, only Bryce Harper has more walks this season than the man at first base, Joey Votto. Here's Gennett, and that's strike one.
Just goes back to picking your poison. You get ahead of him, but you want to make sure you're not going to make a mistake. And he made a couple of tough pitches on the inner half. Almost got him to go on the 0-2 with the elevated fastball, and he lays off on a really good changeup right under the zone. That's fine. You walk him, you end up getting out of it. No harm, no foul.
Gennett is grounded into 13 double plays. Middle infield back now, corners in, and it's a ball and a strike. Scooter Gennett now leading the National League in batting average at .318. Jose Martinez .311. Sandwiched between them, Yelich, who's had an MVP type season for Milwaukee. The 1-1. Cardinals head to Washington after the ball game today, and what a matchup tomorrow. Don't want to miss that. Jack Flaherty, Max Scherzer.
There are some pitching pairings out there in baseball where you for sure want to buy a ticket for. I think that would be one of them.
You bet. Here's a 1-2. Chicago and the Phillies wrapping up their series today. They are scoreless. And speaking of the Nationals, they trail Milwaukee 2-1. That's in the top of the third. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the next to Scooter Gennett. Fouled back. Weaver was so good in spring training and early on this season. It was strike one, and it was late life on the fastball, but pitching ahead in the count. And for the longest time this season, it may surprise you, but he led all Cardinals in strikeouts. He's got strikeout stuff, but he's got to pitch ahead in the count.
No question. And early in the season, when he did have that command, we also saw the third pitch quite a bit. We saw the curveball. He had a good feel for it, something that he kind of lost throughout the year.
2-2 spoiled again. Is it tough to get a feel, Brad, for pitches? You were a swing guy at one point in your career, starter, bullpen, back to starter, to get command of all three.
Yeah, it can be, especially when you're asked to come out of the bullpen. Very rarely do you have time to get a feel for 3 pitches. In the rotation, you can. You're going to see the lineup multiple times. You're working on that in your side sessions of getting that third pitch going. Out of the bullpen, it's a little bit tougher, but it's something that where you know it's in there for Weaver. You know the changeup is great. Once again, when he's commanding the counts, and the curveball, he's shown the flashes of it, but it's just getting to that point in his career where he feels like he can continue to go to it in big spots. It's another thing for the hitter to think about.
22 pitches and counting here in this first inning for Luke Weaver. But a ground ball could get him out. 8th pitch of this at bat. The 2-2, and Gennett a base hit into right. 1-0 Cincinnati. And Votto will go from first to third. Jeanette drives in his 81st of the year.
Well, you see this pitch, a changeup well below the zone. Yachty wants it away, though, and it just leaks back a little bit on the inner half of the plate, and Scooter Jeanette's just able to drop the barrel on it. Doesn't crush this thing, but is able to put it in play, and quite effectively.
And the batter is Eugenio Suarez. Now with 98 runs batted in. Runners at the corners, still one out. So the Cardinals trailed early on in all 3 games, came back in game 1, eventually put up 12 runs on the board, fell behind last night, lost the ball game 4-0, trail 1-0 here. Suarez with 16 double plays off his bat, and now it's 2-0. Votto will score on a wild pitch. And an ugly start to this game for Luke Weaver.
Well, you see Weaver go to the changeup here and ends up just spiking this one really early. Yachty trying to get in front of it, just kicks off.
Jeanette to second base, 2-0 our score. Pitch number 26 of the inning for Weaver. 2-1.
As a pitcher now, the thought process is, all right, we're here, we're in this spot, you can't get those back, it's where do we go? We saw the first game of this series, Cardinals gave up 2 in the first inning, we're able to bounce back, we're able to respond very well. It's about limiting damage at this point. Leave him there at second base.
3-1. And Schebler at the on deck circle. Three balls and a strike on Suarez. And the 3-2 now to Suarez. Your former pitching coach Dave Duncan, you always used to talk about pitch to contact. Two-seamer, you were perfect for him. Sinker, ground balls, but challenge hitters, be aggressive in the zone.
Yeah, strikeouts are great, especially if you get to that point, and we've seen Weaver a couple of times get to the point where he tries to bury a pitch, get the strikeout. Hasn't really happened yet, but use your defense, and this defense has gotten a lot better for the Cardinals here recently.
So 2 walks, 2 hits in the inning. And already Mike Maddox with a visit. Runners at first and second. An issue for Weaver, what we talked about. Lack of strikes early in counts and picking.
Yeah, we know that Weaver's stuff is very good. He's got a plus fastball. His changeup is exceptional. But it's all about filling up that zone, and that's something that I tried to remind myself of early on. Is you don't have to be too fine, and I would catch myself at times trying to throw that ball just right on the outer corner, right on the black, and then realize I'm 2-0. Then I got to come right to the hitter, and that's when you get in trouble. If you can fill up, especially just the bottom of the strike zone, you don't really have to hit a third of the plate necessarily all the time. It's all about filling up the bottom of the zone. If you can do that, you're going to have success.
Be interesting today. You've got 30 pitches already in the first inning. Last night, Tyson Ross went 4 1/3. So, you know, Mike Schilt is already thinking about the second, the third, so on and so forth, and how you get through the game. Rosters expanded, shouldn't be a problem, but got to get Weaver through the first, and there's ball 1.
Well, and the thought is, yes, you have enough arms. You can cover the game. You can cover the innings. But you have a big series coming up. You don't have an off day until Thursday. So there's going to be a lot of innings that need to be had. It's important for Weaver to be able to settle in and get this club deeper into the ball game.
1 ball and 1 strike with runners at first and second. One and 2. As you mentioned, right now the idea, the focal point has to be, look, you can't do anything about the 2 runs. Limit the damage. And Schebler comes into the ballgame really swinging a hot bat this weekend. Here's a 1-2. And it's 2-2. The 2-2. I mean, you can make a case for Luke Weaver making this start today, pushing back Flaherty, but you can't defend walks, and that's tough. Something that's, you know, falls on him.
Yeah, this start is a big time opportunity, I believe, for Luke Weaver, for the here, for the now, for next year. But it's all about where do you go now? What's next?
Let's hit down the right field line and foul.
Once again, it's been since August 16th that he's had a start, made that transition to the bullpen, did a very good job out of there, earned this start again, filled up the strike zone more, even out of the bullpen.
Runners at first and second. 3-2 pitch to Schebler. Well, the Cardinals are trying to avoid losing consecutive games since all the way back July 22nd and 23rd. The final meeting between the Reds and Cardinals this year. Cardinals have won 12 of the 18 games. And Tyler Webb already starts to throw in the Cardinal pen. The 3-2 pitch. He walked him. That's 3 walks in the inning. The bases are loaded. It brings in Mason Williams. This big crowd right now restless. Ball game started with a double. Then Peraza ground out to second. Walk to Votto. Base hit by Jeanette. Then a wild pitch scored Votto after Hamilton had scored. And back-to-back walks, and they're all loaded up. Mason Williams. I would think, Brad, if he does not get this hitter, he's out of the game.
I would think so as well. We've seen the Cardinals be able to respond already, especially game 1 of this series. When the Reds scored, they would be able to come back. But you just don't want to dig yourself a hole that makes it very difficult to come out of. Once again, it just goes back to strikes. I get it. It's a big spot, bases loaded. You know that a shot in the gap is going to hurt you, but falling behind is going to hurt you even more.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. And a double play ball. 6-4-3. Gets the double play. 40 pitches here in the top of the first. Could have been much worse. Coming up, Carpenter, Molina, and Martinez. 2-0 Cincinnati. That was. Could have been much worse. You regroup, and let's see what the Cardinals have. Matt Carpenter at the top of the lineup hit his 35th home run, game 1 of this series. Then Molina and Martinez. Ozuna back in there. DeYoung, Wisdom, Bader, Garcia, and the pitcher, Luke Weaver. Anthony DeSclafani. And he's 7-4 in 15 starts. Missed all of last season. UCL injury in his elbow. Originally drafted by the Blue Jays in 2011 from the University of Florida.
Well, you're going to see a lot of fastball, slider. Fastball got good movement down. He's got a good sinker. Slider, he stays at the bottom of the zone really well. Last time the Cardinals faced him here at home was actually Mike Schilt's first game as interim manager. Matt Carpenter led off the game, first pitch home run. Gave up a couple home runs in that game. Had a rocky 4th inning. You can get to him, but he's been one of their more consistent guys when he has been able to take the ball.
3-0. DeSclafani, drafted by the Blue Jays, then part of the 2012 trade. The Marlins that sent Mark Burley, Jose Reyes, Josh Johnson to Toronto. There's a strike. Debuted with the Marlins in 14. Then they traded him to the Reds for Matt Latos. And Latos is trying to make a comeback right now in independent baseball. 3-1 pitch. Inside and a leadoff walk. Well, it might be one of those days.
That's all right. It's nice to see it on the other side as well.
I thought Castillo last night, I put it in one of the probably top 5, top 10 games the Cardinals have seen the opposition. How well he pitched.
He looked great. He looked great. It's so easy to look at the numbers overall and say, oh, how did that guy do that? You got to watch. You got to see what he was doing. He was 97 to 99, bottom of the strike zone. The slider was great. Right on right changeup, very effective for them. And Castillo, it's all about being able to repeat something like that.
And there's a ball. And Caselli will visit with DeSclafani. Yadier Molina, by the way, 2 for 18. One of the 2 hits, a home run, 4 strikeouts against this right-hander. That's all right. The fans here say, well, you know what? The sunshine is out. It's a beautiful day. Cardinals are in the front spot in the wild card. It's only 2-0. Let's have a little fun.
Life is good, and this team has proven here over the last month plus that there's not a game they're really out of.
2-0. It is interesting, as you know, Brad, you watch a pitcher first innings, and if they can get through it, they settle down, but it's about feel. Sometimes the ball isn't right in their hands. I mean, everything that comes into play.
Yeah, sometimes I felt this oftentimes on day games. For some reason, it would take me a little bit longer to just get locked in. Now, we do realize that it got very close to it there for Luke Weaver in the first. Sometimes you run out of time to get locked in, but he was able to get that ground ball, stop the damage where it was, and it's about making adjustments. Make one in between innings. It's nice to be able to make one pitch to pitch.
And a base hit into right field. Almost lined into the glove of Jeanette. May have got the tip of the glove, regardless, a base hit into right.
Well, you see him here, slider away. Yachty just does what he does, stays on it really well, balanced, and drives it to the right side, just out of the reach of Scooter Jeanette. And all of a sudden, the Cardinals got a little bit of that momentum back. You got runners on first and second. You got nobody out. You got one of the hottest hitters in all of baseball up.
So you did not like day games, and I have a personal theory as it comes to your potential on day games.
Was it my tan?
Not that.
No. I like to sleep in.
No, sir.
No.
Keep going.
I'm out of it. Out of options.
Here's the 0-1. And it's 0-2 on Jose Martinez, batting .311.
It was so hot.
Nope. No.
Would get hot sometimes.
Yeah, it gets hot. I have my theory on why Brad Thompson struggled in day games.
Well, you can keep that theory to yourself.
Well, I know you were a guy that got in bed early, rested up for the next day.
Yeah, the only problem with the getting in bed early and resting up for the next day is I would have 2 pots of coffee and then a Red Bull in the 5th inning.
You were jumping out there?
Yeah, man. I'd get back to my hotel room on the road or get back to my apartment and just be staring at the ceiling.
I don't buy that you got in early either.
Of course I did. Well, late game sometimes.
Wow,
hang out
okay.
afterwards.
Yeah. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Martinez. Inside, and it's 2-2. Marcell Ozuna back in the lineup. The on deck circle. That was hit number 1,838 for Yadier Molina. He's now tied with Bob Boone, 15th all time in hits among major league catchers. The 2-2 pitch to Martinez. Got him. A strikeout. Reds defensively today. Their alignment around the horn presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Williams, Hamilton, and Schebler in the outfield. Suarez, Peraza, Jeanette, and Votto on the infield. Kurt Caselli, the backup catcher behind the plate. Marcell Ozuna had an injection, so didn't pick up a bat, glove, ball, was with the club, took BP, but we'll see how his timing is coming into this start.
Well, the timing might take a second. That being said, you very rarely get a chance to heal throughout a major league season. We know he's been dealing with the shoulder issues. It first popped up in spring training, so it's been all year just trying to manage that. I'm sure this did a world of good, just getting an opportunity to rest, to get stronger, and the Cardinals are going to need him down the stretch.
The 0-1 to Marcell Ozuna. It's a ball and a strike. And we've seen at times it's been very uncomfortable for him to throw the baseball, and you just have to wonder if it's affected him at all at the plate.
I don't know how it couldn't. I mean, I know he says throughout the year, he said, hey, it's fine, but you're always going to say that, and you're always going to make yourself believe it, and you're going to battle through it. Whatever you're feeling, you're feeling. That's just kind of how the game is. But having this opportunity to rest, I'm sure it feels a lot better than it has all year.
Runners go, and with that, they avoid the double play. And it puts 2 in scoring position. Starting runners down by 2 here in the bottom of the first. Could be risky with 2 runners on, and Mike Schultz starts the runners, and with that, they avoid the double play.
Well, it could be risky, or in one batter, it could end up being a tie ball game. And there is that risk versus reward there that you like to factor in. We've seen a lot more reward from all the aggressive base running from Mike Schultz's team than we've seen the flip side of it.
Now a base hit, as Brad mentioned, ties it up. 2-0 our score. DeYoung with home run number 15 in game 1. He drove in a career high 5 that night. I still talk about it all the time. It won't show up in the scorebook or tomorrow in the paper. Wherever you get caught up on games. Could be a big play, starting the runners right there. A 1 pitch.
Paul DeYoung, while he hasn't necessarily hit for a ton of average, he does a lot of damage when he's out there. You mentioned the 5 RBI the other day.
And it's hit to short. Cardinals will strand a pair, dug out by Votto. We move to inning number 2. 2-0 Reds.
A rough start for Luke Weaver's return as a starter. Weaver had started 24 games for the Cardinals this season before he was moved to the bullpen. Mike Schilt told me he was totally impressed with the way Weaver handled that change in role. Schilt said he accepted it like a pro. It could have gone one of two ways. He could have taken it as a demotion. Instead, he embraced it and looked at it as an opportunity to work on a few things. And Weaver was solid out of the pen. 3 relief appearances. Luke worked 4 innings, no walks, and a 2.25 ERA. Dan, let's see if he settles in here.
Okay, he got that key double play. Thank you, Jimmy. So it's 8-9-1. Casale, DeSclafani, and Hamilton. Strike one, so important. And the 0-1 pitch. The bigger picture, too. That's now 42 pitches to get 3 outs. So you'd like to see him settle in and give the club a little length here today, too.
For sure. Outs early in the count.
And that's into left center. Bader has to track it down, cuts it off. Casale thinking 2. Throwing to second base. He is safe. No argument from Greg Garcia, who is not at the bag. And I'm sure he's anticipating backing up DeYoung on the throw. But what a play here by Harrison Bader.
That was an unbelievable job right there by Harrison. Harrison had to range quite a ways to get to this. He gets in front of it, catches it off the one bounce, makes a really strong throw. You see this ball up in the zone, just barreled in the gap. By all accounts, you think it's going to get to the wall, checks up. And Harrison Bader makes a really strong throw right there. I think he might have got him right there on the left foot. Oh, I think he's out.
Oh, the Cardinals will not challenge. I think the question has to be is, why was Garcia not at the bag at second? If he is, he applies the tag and he's out.
Well, I think the thought is that that ball's in the gap. And Harrison turned around so quickly and got it.
I think some of the Cardinals want to challenge. He's out right there. That view right there will tell you he's out. And it's a moot point now once you have that next pitch. Looked like he, unless my eyes are deceiving me, that he did with the tag get just a little piece of the leg or the.
Looked like it nicked his foot.
The guard that is worn there.
Well, as you mentioned, that part of it's over. So it's about leaving him there at second base. Not exactly how you wanted to start this inning for Luke Weaver after a rocky first inning.
So the corners are in with DeSclafani at the plate. And he hits it left side. The young to Carpenter. Now, one thing to keep in mind, the strings that are on a glove, as you tie up and you string up a glove, and some guys have that, you know, 4, 5, 6 inches on the glove. The strings, if they hit the body, that is not an out. So couldn't tell if maybe they thought it was the strings of the glove that touched the body of Casale, and if that's the case, then they would not challenge because of that. Infield is drawn in, 1 out, runner at third, and the pitch taken high by Billy Hamilton. But I am surprised the Cardinals did not challenge.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they have we have plenty of looks at it up here. They have a lot of looks at it down there. Yeah, yep. Absolutely.
So the infield in for Billy Hamilton. And it's 2-0. The 2-0 pitch by Weaver to Hamilton. And a strike. Take another look at the double by Casale. Boy, it sure looked like he got him on the foot, didn't it?
Yeah, it looked like the thumb of Garcia's glove just ended up nicking. But it is, I mean, it's very close. It's a tight play.
3-1.
You just hope that the Cardinals are fortunate enough to get out of here without that thing hurting them at all.
The 3-1 pitch to Billy Hamilton. He walked him. And that's 4 walks, and with the speed of Hamilton, now the Reds can apply all kinds of pressure on the Cardinals defense.
It certainly applies the pressure on the defense. It applies a lot of pressure on Luke Weaver also. He's been around the strike zone more than he's been in it. And you want to be able to execute a good pitch on Peraza, but you're worried about him over at first. Oftentimes when you have those speedy base runners up there, it makes you make a mistake up in the zone, and that's where a lot of damage comes in.
There's Jose Peraza. Billy Hamilton has a glove that he wears. So that's the equipment that he's putting on. Protect the hand.
Could probably also get cookies out of a hot oven, which is nice.
It's a dual purpose. So 1 out. Peraza at the plate. And it's popped up. Playable for Molina. He's got it. A big out. Two outs, runners at first and third. Billy Hamilton, by the way, has not attempted a steal against the Cardinals this year. 18th game between the two teams. He's primarily batting 9th against St. Louis. Part of that is due to the fact he's not been getting on base. He only attempted 3 against the Cardinals last season. In 2016, he had 16 attempts and was saved 15 times against St. Louis. So 2 outs and 2 on. And Votto at the plate.
You always like to watch the best versus the best. As far as stealing bags, Billy Hamilton is one of them. As far as gunning guys down, well, that's Yadier Molina. As you mentioned a couple of years ago, that was one-sided. A lot of those off the pitcher, by the way.
Ball one to Votto. Walked and scored back in the first on a wild pitch by Weaver. It's been a battle for Luke Weaver today with 4 walks. He's allowed 3 base hits. 2-0 our score. 2-0. Jeanette at the on deck circle. Cardinals strand a pair in the bottom of the first. Two and one. The 2-1 and a changeup taken low. Three balls and a strike. And a hitter's count for one of the best in the game in Votto. And he walked him. So the base is loaded. 5 walks issued by Luke Weaver here in the first 2 innings. 27 balls, 29 strikes.
Certainly not the ratio that you want. I mean, that has been a thing all year long against Joey Votto. You mentioned it, all the walks so far this year. You'd like to find a better matchup. Scooter Gennett, though, has had some very good numbers throughout the year against Luke Weaver. 6 for 12 now in his career.
And Webb back up for the second time. Bases loaded. Gennett at the plate. He leads the league in hitting. Now working from the windup with the bases loaded. And the first pitch to Gennett. Fly ball lifted out to left. Ozuna backing up. And he makes the catch. They've stranded 5 in the first 2 innings. Download the Fox Sports Go app, log in and stream the Cardinals. Wisdom, Bader, and Garcia. Well, the Cardinals come away unscathed. You had the leadoff double that looked to be maybe an out with replay, and Garcia not at the bag because I'm sure he's thinking, I'm backing up the throw that's going to third.
Yep.
But Bader got there so quickly he could make it close at second base. Kind of an odd inning, but hey, no damage done.
It's a 0 either
That's
way.
Right. And a strike to Patrick Wisdom.
We spent a lot of time talking about Harrison Bader's range and the great base running. I'm not sure we talk about his arm enough. That thing is good.
Very good arm, plus arm, accurate for the most part too. Patrick Wisdom hit a home run down the right field line on Friday night. And then Dixon, a position player for the Reds, came in to pitch and clean it up. And as Jim Hayes told us, doing great work. He found out that Wisdom and Dixon were high school teammates and faced each other. What are the chances of that?
With Dixon being a position player, not great.
You bet.
It's a funny game. He almost got him too. Warning track. Fooled him with 63.
Little cut, little sink.
Late life. That's what I'd like to call that one.
The gravity pulled
And it's really
down.
not the velocity. Sometimes it's probably, I think it was a heavy 63. I'm sure Dixon would tell you.
Wisdom has not been biting on that pitch, just on the outside corner. Ed Hickox, though, home plate umpire. Gabe Morales at first. John Lipka at second. Jerry Meals, the crew chief, at third. Leadoff walk. Manager Dream Team in franchise mode. Plus get weekly stats, roster updates, and more. RBI Baseball 18 available now. Learn more at RBIGame.com. Rated E for everyone. Here's Harrison Bader. It was a home run on this homestand, number 10. Batting .274 overall. Showing bunt, looks at a ball, peeks down at third. I mean, teams have to play him to anticipate the bunt, especially early in games. So that opens up some hitting lanes left side. Suarez even with the bag. Runner goes, and a throw down to second. They got him. So Wisdom caught stealing.
You see Harrison pull back on that one. Almost interferes there, but makes a strong throw. Sally's able to get him.
Anytime I see that, a bigger guy like Wisdom, you wonder if there was a missed sign or a different play that was on, or maybe just a straight steal. Cardinals will be aggressive when they have the tells on various pitchers, whether it's slow to the plate, catcher, release is not quick. Patrick Wisdom, by the way, in the minor leagues, 42 stolen bases. He's 42 for 53 in his minor league career. 3-2 the count.
Mike Schilt obviously knows Patrick Wisdom quite well. Time to get something else going, though.
And Bader, strikeout. That's 2 away. Second strikeout for DeSclafani, and it brings in Greg Garcia.
Well, we've talked about the slider here. Nice tight one down at the bottom of the zone. Starts in the middle of the plate, ends off the plate, down and away. It's a perfect pitch right there. When DeSclafani's on, that's what you're going to see. You're going to see the sinkers, especially the righties. Sinkers in on their hands, sliders down and away, and he executed that one perfectly.
And that's popped up left side off the bat of Greg Garcia and out of play. Greg batting .217, 3 home runs, and he's driven in 13. And a base hit into left center. And with 2 outs and a runner at first, it brings in Weaver.
Well, you see that slider here just hangs up, goes right into Garcia's swing. Just able to get it out there. Luke Weaver can swing it a little bit.
And the Cardinals will at least get him through the order. Matt Carpenter at the on deck circle. Let's see if Luke can't do something here with 2 outs. Outfield shallow straight away. Talk about Weaver and seeing him swing. A lot of times his first step is towards Jose Oquendo. A old slider may be a tough pitch for him.
Yeah, I had a similar problem. I thought every time I was going to hit a home run to left field and I would step that way.
Hits it to the right side, backhanded by Votto. And we play 2. It's 2-0 Cincinnati. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest. And may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Sunday, September 16th, 30,000 fans 16 and older take home their very own Mark McGwire bobblehead commemorating the 20-year anniversary of Big Mac's record-setting season. Celebrates home run number 62, brought to you by Coca-Cola and Deerbirds. Tickets at Cardinals.com. Luke Weaver finishing up his warm-up tosses. First 2 innings, 5 walks. He's allowed 3 hits and a couple of runs. Always great to see the young fans here at the ballpark. The Build-A-Bear giveaway. Load him up with that orange soda and
that'll keep him going.
Yeah, get after it. And ball 1.
Well, I'll tell you what, you'd like to see Luke Weaver retire the first batter of the inning. Billy Hamilton led off the game with a double. Last inning it was Casale with a double.
7 of 14 first pitch strikes. Suarez at the plate, and the 1-1. Pitch count at 60. It had been since mid-August since he made a start, so we'll see how deep he can go today. The 2-1 hit out of play. Cardinals are going to watch Michael Wacha throw another bullpen this week. Figure out with Mike Maddox what they'd like to do in that direction with Wacha. And Adam Wainwright, another good outing last night. 5 innings scoreless.
He's been scoreless in his entire rehab stint, and all the reports about him have been very, very good. I believe it's 17 scoreless innings from Adam Wainwright. It'd be great to have him back. The velocity sitting there 89 to 91 area, has touched 92. Apparently good break on old Uncle Charlie.
And a strikeout for Weaver, his first of the day.
Well, you see a fastball just up in the zone away. Suarez trying to make something happen, and maybe that does make something happen for Luke Weaver. You get the first batter of the inning out, you can take a deep breath and you get back into it, and we know he hasn't been able to have a great feel for anything yet in this game. But it's got to be nice to be in the second batter of the inning, not be from the stretch, and you start to just get in a rhythm.
There's Schebler, and a strike. Walked his first time up. They had the bases loaded in the first, and a double play into that inning after putting up 2 runs. Bases loaded last inning. That apparently got Schebler. And it may have gotten a home plate umpire, Yadier Molina.
Weaver trying to go inside there, catches him right under the arm, and then catches a little bit of everybody on the backside. Schebler's been swinging the bat really well. You want to be able to open the outside of the plate up. You have to be able to get in there, but just goes in a little bit too deep.
Also caught Ed Hickox on the leg. There's Mason Williams grounded into that double play with the bases loaded back in the first inning. And there's strike 1. Phillip Ervin has been the starter in left field for this series. First 2 games he'll come off the bench. Tucker Barnhart also on the bench, as Casale is the starter today in game 3. But what is a gorgeous day here in St. Louis. And the 0-1. Ground ball foul. 2 strikes on Williams.
Saw that good downward action right there that Weaver has on his changeup, and we've seen a couple of them under the zone. To me, that's the key, is being able to throw that one for a strike. You want to get a swing. It doesn't have to be a swing and miss all the time. You can get that weak contact. That's what he should be looking for there, and that's a good one. Bottom of the zone, 83, tumbling action out of his hand, and it gets that swing instead of being able to lay off of that thing. Starts up in the zone, let it work down into it.
The 1-2 pitch by Weaver. Second strikeout, both coming in this 3rd inning.
Well, here's the changeup again. Just throws this one coming on the inner half, tumbling action again. A very nice pitch. Maybe starting to settle in a little bit now with the pitch count up to 69 now. Might be a little bit late, but better late than never.
Here's Casale, who doubled back in the second inning. There's strike one. Webb just standing on the bullpen mound of the Cardinals. So technically up for the third time, but he's there just in case. Pitcher on deck. The 0-1 pitch. Hit sharply to third. Wisdom up. Nice play. Very well done there by Patrick Wisdom down at third base to take a hit away from Casale. The top of the lineup coming up. It's 2-0. That means Matt Carpenter and our Kubota power stats. Last 7 games hitting .435. It's the extra base hits. It's a ball game in Denver in which he had 4 doubles. That's the home run game 1 of this series. 5 extra base hits. He walked his first time up, and then it's Yadier Molina and Jose Martinez. I would imagine that next inning, if Luke Weaver gets in any kind of trouble, they go to the bullpen. The third time through the lineup, that's when he's had issues. A lot of them. Teams hitting .343 against him, and it's been a struggle today.
Yeah, you've had Webb up multiple times already. You figure if you get him up one more time, you might as well get him in the ball game.
And a ball low to Carpenter. Did you get your it's got to be the Salsa t-shirt?
Got one back there.
Yep,
they showed fantastic.
It's the t-shirt of the month coming up. Also, he'll be a part of that speaker series September 11th.
We're gonna have fun at that
lunchtime program. You'll be with me and Matt Carpenter, and hopefully you at home. Cardinals.com/speaker series to find out all about it. I turned you down on the first night. I'm saying you're in.
I'm persistent.
Yeah.
Now we haven't established. Are you picking me up? Are we meeting there?
Oh, we'll meet here.
All right. I'll ask again later. Get the answer I want.
I only said you could go to the speaker series just because I wanted you to zip it. That's right.
Okay. I still got what I wanted.
The 2-2. 3-2. Carpenter a lot of walks and taking a lot of pitches. gets one to drive, he does damage. Highest percentage of pitches taken, Cesar Hernandez, and then Carpenter. He walked in the first. Patrick Wisdom led off the second with a walk. Here's a 3-2. And a grounder to Votto. Stays down on it. Flips to DeSclafani for the out. Today, Yadier Molina passes Lance Parrish 12th all-time in games caught. Up next, Benito Santiago. A couple of former Cardinals in front of Molina and A.J. Pierzynski. Tony Pena is 6th all-time. And number 1 on that list, the Hall of Famer Pudge Rodriguez.
I've been around the last couple of days, the media scrum with Mike Schilt, and the answers or the questions about when is Yadi getting an off day. I think they've stopped at this point.
Right.
He's going to play. He's going to play. And this team is a lot better when he's out there.
High fly ball lifted out to left. And that's out number 2. So with 2 down, the batter will be Jose Martinez. He struck out with 2 runners on back in the first. There's Dexter Fowler, his season done on the 60-day DL. He's been in and out, getting treatment on that foot. A ball and a strike.
Tell you what, DeSclafani does such a great job against the righties of being able to just bore that sinker in and then throws that slider right off it. We've seen a lot of great ones down in the zone already. Going fastball away here, though.
Spoiled by Martinez. Talking with John Mozeliak today about Jose, and I said, how many inquiries did you get about Martinez at the trade deadline? He said, well, you got to remember, back then we're still trying to figure ourselves out. There were teams that did call, but we knew we were clearing space. You know, it was part of the trickle down effect of the trade of Tommy Pham to give Bader time in center and get at bats for Tyler O'Neill, and obviously that's the case now with Jose Martinez as well. The 2-2 pitch to Martinez. Full count. (3-2), and he just got a piece to stay alive. Ozuna at the on deck circle, and the Cardinals now trying to find some offense. 12 runs in game 1, shutout in the ball game last night, and off the board here with 2 outs in the 3rd in game 3.
Yeah, I just don't get the feeling that 2 runs is going to win this ball game. DeSclafani, pitch count up to 52 already. You know, at some point you're going to get into that bullpen. Hopefully you're able to get to DeSclafani before that.
And that's a 3rd strikeout. 2 of those have been against Martinez. We head to inning number 4.
Danny, Tyson Ross has made 135 starts in his career. Now he's working out of the Cardinal bullpen. Ross told me it's been a unique challenge in my role now. I never know when I'm going to pitch or for how long. Ross threw 4 2/3 last night, coaxing a double play ball with the bases loaded and 1 out in the 4th. Ross told me the biggest challenge in adjusting to the bullpen was finding a routine. He says it includes conditioning work, extra conditioning work, and a lot of flat ground throwing work. As for being in a bullpen with a bunch of young pitchers, Ross told me, quote, it's been a lot of fun watching them grow. Danny, he looked good last night.
He did. 4 1/3, as you mentioned. I know, Jimmy, you got to the ballpark here early to track down Webb and have that visit on the pregame show. Is always great work. DeSclafani at the plate. And it's 0-2.
We've seen the last couple innings real quick. The curveball by Luke Weaver looks a lot better.
Does bring up some interesting points. You being a bullpen guy for the better part of your major league career, in terms of just how you stay sharp, what you do in the off days, what do you do if you know that you're not pitching that day, if you've thrown a couple in a row, those kinds of things.
Yeah, here's one thing, you know, that Tyson Ross has the day off today. And I would assume he probably treated this day like a day after his start day. Probably did some sort of a conditioning, the running, the lifting. But it is a weird transition. He mentioned the flat ground. The flat ground work is very important because as a member of the bullpen, you can't get off the bump every day and work on your pitches, but you still have to have a feel for everything. And he's able to, you know, go out there and make that transition. It's been a really good one for him. And figuring out how to warm up, what your body needs, takes a while. But once you get out on the bump, you compete, and Tyson Ross has done a great job of that.
Well, here we go. 3rd time through the lineup. And as you mentioned, the breaking ball a little bit better here by Weaver. Has been sharper the last 2 innings as opposed to the first 2 in which he walked 5.
Well, 3rd time around, I think that curveball is going to be important here. He didn't really throw it to the meat of the order the first couple of times. He's just broken out here recently.
And there it was.
And there are some days where you're going to have feel for it, others you don't. Remember early in the season when he used that pitch quite a bit, had a great feel for it, could throw it for strike, could throw it for chase.
A ball and a strike. Hamilton a double. Run scored back in the 1st and a walk in the 2nd. Out of play.
We've seen a couple of counts that Weaver's been in command of, 0-2, 1-2, that have been extended 2-2, 3-2. You'd like to see him just get it taken care of here.
Curveball, and he struck him out. So back-to-back Ks.
Well, 3rd time around in the order so far for Luke Weaver, showing off the breaking ball a little bit more. And here's a good one. Started Billy Hamilton out with a backdoor one, throws another one there. Billy sees it a little bit too late and just can't get anything on it. That's a very good pitch right there for Luke Weaver.
Shook off the fastball and the changeup to get to the curveball. And here's Peraza. I'm assuming as a young pitcher coming out of the bullpen, you did not shake off Yadier Molina all that much, if at all.
No, not a ton. But you do know this. It's on you. So if you have a feel for something, because Yadi might know what the best pitch is in any given spot. There's no might. He knows what the best pitch is in a certain spot, but he doesn't know how you feel holding that pitch that day. He doesn't know how it felt for you in the bullpen coming in. And that's something as a pitcher, if you don't have the conviction behind something, you've got to be able to shake off. You've got to be able to go to the one that you have a feel for.
Little flare into center. Here comes Bader, and he makes the catch. That's 5 in a row by Weaver. Ozuna coming up. 2-0 our score. Marcell Ozuna at home this year. 307 with the 11 home runs. And on the year with 16. That's the amazing thing. If he's been compromised with the shoulder, he has found a way to get on. And now he's hit by a pitch. Or did that go right by him?
I think they caught him. It looked like he just caught him right on the top of the hands there, holding the bat.
I'm sure the Reds are saying with the way that it went off, the body maybe did it get the bat, but it looked like it was clearly off the hand. So Ozuna aboard. And in 4 innings, 3 of the 4 first hitters have reached base. And a strike to Paul DeJong.
Well, it's time to cash one of those in. Have some quality at bats, get a guy over. We've seen the Cardinals already in this one be aggressive. Now it hasn't panned out yet. But at some point you believe it's going to. This offense is just too good.
And DeJong pops it up right side. Jeanette racing for it and comes up short in a good effort.
That was close. That thing just kept hanging up there. It was tailing back. The Scooter Jeanette only missed it by a couple of feet, and he had to range quite some way to get there. See how far he travels here. Kind of just a step or two too short.
Then a little rest.
Stay worn out.
Playing DeJong to pull, so had a long way to go. And Votto wasn't there. He was holding it first. DeJong hits it up the middle and a base hit into center. And the Cardinals do have something going now. Runners at first and second, nobody out.
It's a tough pitch right there. Breaking ball down and away, just stays on it. Goes right back up the box. Time to cash some of these in.
Patrick Wisdom walked and then was caught stealing back in the second inning. Ball 1. No activity in the Cardinals pen. Now that could change if you get to Weaver's spot and a chance to do a little damage offensively. But who would have thought after the first and second inning you'd be potentially talking about Weaver going into the 5th.
Well, it's much needed. We just talked about Tyson Ross already, the innings that he ate up yesterday, but your true long guy, your traditional long guy, is burnt for the day already. And even though rosters have expanded, you have plenty of arms out there. I think it's important for Weaver to be able to eat up some of these.
And Wisdom pops it up on the infield fly rule. Runners advance at their own risk, and there's the first out. Harrison Bader. He struck out back in the second inning. Crowd last night and again today waiting for something offensively to be put together by the club. Oh, 0-2 on Bader. Seen it all day long. DeSclafani trying to bust the right-handed batters in.
Well, when you think about the Cardinals hitters, you got a lot of guys that you kind of pitch the same. The hard in off the plate, sliders down and away, and until they prove that they can do something with it, you stick with it.
It's spoiled by Bader.
We haven't seen Anthony DeSclafani make too many mistakes, especially in slider counts with that thing. When he does throw it, he's been under the zone. Even the balls that he's thrown with it have been down. They've been off the plate.
Last 5 starts for the Reds right-hander. It's gone 6 or more in each start and a 3-1 record.
Well, he's been really good throughout his career. His overall numbers are good. The problem is he's just been so hurt. Missed all of 2017 with the UCL issues, the elbow issues. Started this season on the DL with the oblique.
Bader, fair ball. Off the sidewall. 1 run is in. DeYoung held up late. Bader to third. And lucky he's not caught between second and third. Harrison Bader with a double to get the Cardinals on the board, and it's now a 2-1 Cincinnati lead.
Well, you knew it was a matter of time. Something was going to happen, and we've seen Harrison Bader do this a lot. Get a pitch that he likes and turn on it, and then turn on the afterburners. He's running hard right off the bat. DeYoung gets the late stop right there, probably a good one. And Harrison Bader running hard, rounding hard here. Fortunately, the throw goes to the plate. That's a good piece of hitting right there.
Chance to tie or take the lead with Garcia. O'Neill at the on-deck circle. First pitch is strike. Greg, a base hit into center, first time up. Cardinals with activity again in their bullpen. Garcia bunting to the right side. He may beat it out. He does, and the game is tied 2-2.
Well, that momentum has shifted right back. Greg Garcia handles the bat so well. Felt comfortable throwing this on, sees the opening on that right side. Little safety squeeze. They had no chance to get him right there.
And the batter will be Tyler O'Neill. It's a new ball game, 2-2. Weaver out of the game. And a strike to O'Neill. Adams, Kelly, Garcia, Munoz, O'Neill, Pena, the options off the bench. Going with the power here, the 0-1. Nothing in 2.
Well, all it takes is that one mistake to totally change this game. Once again, DeSclafani hasn't made too many of them, but it's about that time.
Just got a piece. Pretty good speed on the bases right here too, with Garcia and Bader first and third. Bader's 13th hit with a runner in scoring position. And Garcia's 14th RBI of the year, 6 of those against Cincinnati. It's another 0-2 pitch. Matt Carpenter at the on-deck circle. Lucas Sims and Wandy Peralta start to throw in the Cincinnati pen. Big gap in left center. And the 1-2 pitch to Tyler O'Neill. See that slider with DeSclafani. He's left some of those up in this inning and not quite as sharp. If he hangs one here to O'Neill, it could be 5-2. This time it was sharp and got him to chase and a strikeout. Carpenter coming up with 2 on, 2 outs. see Casale looking into the Cincinnati dugout as if to say, look, you do have a base open at second. Now you run the risk of bringing Molina up and the base is loaded, but what do you want to do here? They're going to go with the lefty.
Well, he had fallen behind Carpenter a couple of times. Carpenter with the home run against DeSclafani last time out, and they're going percentages here.
Wandy Peralta to face Matt Carpenter, a tie ball game 2-2 when we come back. Their very own September t-shirt of the month, the Salsa Crazed, and designed by Fresh Brewed Teas. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Busch Stadium, the scene. 2-2 our score. We're in the bottom of the fourth. 2 outs. Carpenter coming up to face Wandy Peralta. He is 1 for 4, by the way, against Peralta with 3 walks. And Matt with 35 home runs. There's our Chevy call to the pen. 9 of the 35 against lefties, and a respectable .258 average.
Yeah, he's seeing a little bit of everybody well, and you understand Jim Riggleman going to the bullpen here, trying to work on his matchup. I mean, they're trying to win a series here. Hope that Matt Carpenter's just able to put something together. Did not look like a game early on. As you see the home run leaders, Matt Carpenter with 35 of them. Hopefully 36 here in a minute. Didn't look like a game that Luke Weaver was going to be pitching deeper into it than Anthony DeSclafani, but it's a crazy game. Things escalate quickly.
And a fastball to Carpenter at 95. Bader, the RBI double. Bunt base hit by Garcia to tie it up 2-2. Seen Peralta as a starter in his career, now exclusively out of the pen for Cincinnati. The 0-1. Nothing at 2. Carpenter in the hole, nothing at 2. Runner goes, and it is a foul ball. Garcia running on the pitch. I mean, even there by Mike Schilt on an 0-2 pitch with a guy that in Carpenter was such a great eye. That's a chance there too, because you can run yourself out of the inning.
Yeah, well, you also Wandy Peralta though sees him running on that 0-2 pitch, made a big mistake, might have thrown him off a little bit.
The 0-2 running again, and Garcia to the bag at second. 1 ball and 2 strikes. A base hit would put the Cardinals on top. The 1-2. Pulled foul. Third stolen base for Greg Garcia.
We've shown a lot of comps throughout this series of Matt Carpenter and Joey Votto, the way that they take pitches, their eyes, on base percentages. I feel the same way about both of them with 2 strikes. I never feel like the pitcher is in full command. They're so good. Matt Carpenter's talked in the past about how comfortable he feels in these situations.
And the 1-2. Carpenter, a little bouncer that is fair. Votto to the bag, takes it himself, and the Cardinals strand a pair, but they pick up 2. And now it's a game of the bullpens. So we head to inning number 5. Bader got the Cardinals on the board to drive in Ozuna. Garcia ties it up 2-2. Are watching this ball game on AFN, the American Forces Network. Welcome to those in countries around the world aboard naval ships at sea, and thank you so very much for your service. Hope you're enjoying a little baseball today. Webb into the ball game to face a couple of lefties at least in Votto and Jeanette. Then you have Suarez, and then again Schebler and Williams. So the lefties really could play a big part in this game coming out of the pen. The first one out is Webb, who was up 3 different times in relief of Luke Weaver, who went 4 innings, couple of runs, walked 5, and struck out 4. And the first pitch is swung on and missed by Joey Votto.
It's a nice breaking ball right there. That is one of the arts of being out in the bullpen, is figuring out how to get to yourself to the point where you're ready, and it won't take you too many pitches when you're called upon again, but not doing too much, especially in a game like today.
And a fly ball lifted out to Ozuna off the bat of Votto, backing up to make the catch. Arcia drive to success. The bullpen since Mike Schilt took over. 10th in innings. The record 12-4. Save percentage second best. And the Cardinals would love to get an inning out of Webb right here. Scoreless.
Well, there has been big turnover down in that bullpen. Webb a part of it. And we've seen Mike Schilt very aggressive with his bullpen.
1 out and nobody on. Jeanette, an RBI single in the first, came up with the bases loaded in inning number 2 and fly to left. Here's a 1-0. Really looking forward to tomorrow with Jack Flaherty and Max Scherzer. Scherzer 16-6, a 2.2 ERA. Flaherty 8-6, ERA of 2.87. And a base hit into right. Second hit for Jeanette. He's 2 for 3.
Well, Scooter Jeanette doesn't have to do too much with this one. Just a fastball up in the zone. That's how you hit for an average right there. You just take advantage of what the pitcher is going to give you.
Here's Suarez, who has walked and also struck out.
I think the Brewers at this point are thinking, man, maybe we should have let him face some lefties.
I would think so. He's turned into some kind of hitter.
He really has. He's a good ball player. It's another good player right here. We've mentioned the contract a couple of times that they've signed for Eugenio Suarez. They've got some good building blocks in that offense. Their infield is very, very talented.
1 ball, 1 strike. The question will be, Jim Riggleman, does he come back? Fans may forget he spent 18 seasons in the Cardinals system. Minor league player, coach, manager, director of player development. He was the Cardinals first base coach in the late 80s, early 90s. Minor league field coordinator all the way through 2007. Out there and back to the bag is Jeanette to first base.
Well, this ball is hit on the screws right here, and some smart base running by Scooter Jeanette right there to freeze and get back to the bag. Just an all-around good player.
Seen a lot of guys get doubled up on that. Schebler on base twice with a walk and was hit back in inning number 3. And in this series, he's reached base in 7 of his 11 plate appearances. And a breaking ball and a strike. The Cardinals have Molina, Martinez, Ozuna looking ahead to the bottom of the 5th. The 0-1. 0-2. Jack Flaherty given an extra day of rest for tomorrow's start. Luke Weaver going today with the 4 innings. He's only 22 when you think about Flaherty, so extra day and get him ready for Washington.
Well, especially you get him ready for this stretch. You're going to need him. You're going to need him down to the wire. We know how close all the standings are. And he's one of your guys. I mean, you look at the season that Michaelis has had has been fantastic. The hope was that Carlos was going to be able to be healthy and be in the rotation all year. Now he's helping you out in the bullpen. You're going to need a lot of Jack Flaherty, and if you can build in some days, and they've done that here recently with him, just give him an extra day. If you can do it here and there, and there are some games where maybe you take him out an inning earlier than you want to, it's going to pay dividends on the backside.
One ball and 2 strikes. You ever wondered how many pitches Yadier Molina has caught? And I'm thinking bullpens, warming up guys, games, getting in that position right there. It's unbelievable.
It is. And you know this. You've been around Yadi for a long time. He's one of the first ones out there in spring training.
Oh yeah,
blocking balls. The sun's not even up yet. That's how you get great.
A good portion of his life has been on his knees or in a catcher's squat. day game after night game.
Well, he talks about it all the time. That's what he prepares himself for. That's why he works so hard in the offseason. We get to see this part of it. I've been fortunate enough to see the other part, all the work that he puts in. You also get to see what a guy like Yadi looks like after a big league ball game. All the foul tips, all the little stuff. As beat up as you could be, but he wants to be out there every day, works, gets his body ready to do this for the long haul.
Here's a 1-2. The beating that his left hand takes time and again too. There's Carson Kelly. Francisco Pena also back up, so Mike Schill kind of a balancing act to try to keep them somewhat sharp, but that's darn near impossible. A swing and a miss, and good work again by Webb. That's another pickup that has worked out for the Cardinals. Gets his first strikeout, and that's of Schebler. Scoreless fifth. We're tied 2-2. Harrison Bader, this RBI double to bring in Ozuna. DeYoung to third, and then Greg Garcia. This bunt and a base hit. That would tie it up. 2-2 our score. Lucas Sims making his Reds debut. Acquired from the Braves on July 30th. Along with Matt Whistler in the Adam Duvall trade. Or Chevy called to the pen. And the first pitch, a strike. He made 10 starts for the Braves last year. And you may remember he made a start here at Busch Stadium. That was August 12th of a season ago. 0-2. Been a starter all through the minor leagues and now coming out of the bullpen for the Reds. 1-2 the count.
This is a difficult time of the year when it comes to scouting guys. Now they've seen a little bit of Sims, but in September you're going to see a lot of arms that you don't really know, and the games mean more than ever at this point. It's kind of a weird thing having to get back to the basics of just kind of see it, hit it at this time of year when you rely a lot on video and scouting reports, but kind of is what it is at this time of year.
Here's a 1-2. Generally speaking, longer games, multiple pitching changes, a lot of changes throughout. Reds playing this series very tough, and not to say that they're going to be losing games from here on out, but you may take the time to look at some of your younger players.
For sure. Boy, and you see Jim Riggleman, the way he managed the game last night.
Exactly.
You bring in Iglesias for the you get a 4-0 ball game. You bring him in to seal the
4
deal.
outs.
Yeah, they want they want these ball games. They're battling hard. You got a group of guys you're still trying to find out about. You had the youngster in Luis Castillo just throw a gem, and you're trying to get that one for him. And they want this series badly.
It's been slider after slider here to Molina. 2-2 the count. Martinez on deck, and then Marcell Ozuna. And Yachty hits it out to right. And there's one away.
Watching the 2-0 while your friends go for the steal? We understand. Great Southern Bank. We're fans too.
The batter is Jose Martinez. He struck out twice. Chased a couple of balls with 2 strikes that were out of the zone away from him. And looks at a strike here. Wherever you may be, we hope you're enjoying Cardinals baseball this Labor Day weekend. And the 0-2 struck him out. So Martinez strikes out for the 3rd time.
Well, changed his approach. You mentioned a couple of sliders last time around that you had him chasing. He stuck with the fastball here. 3 of them in a row, got ahead, and then went 95 up and away. When you're sitting there, and you'd have to assume, knowing what he throws, that you're going to get a slider here, and you know how the guys have attacked you. That fastball, pretty effective there by Sims.
So 2 outs and nobody on. And Ozuna hits it down the left field line. It is a foul ball. Not by much.
It is just nice to see Marcell Ozuna just back in there.
Presence in the lineup. 0-1 pitch. Nothing in 2. Big Casale along with Williams and Sim spot coming up. 7, 8, and 9 for the Reds. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The 2-2 hit sharply to third. Suarez makes a dandy play. Cardinals go in order. 6th inning rolls in when we come back. Cardinals baseball without Jim Hayes. Jimmy, what do you got?
Too kind, Danny. Mike Schultz says at this point there's been no final decision on when Adam Wainwright might return to the rotation. Waino threw 5 scoreless for Memphis yesterday. Over a total of 17 innings, over 6 rehab outings, Adam has yet to give up a run. Schultz told me that he's not surprised by Waino's success. He told me it's Adam Wainwright, so we're not surprised by anything he does. This is a very dedicated and an exceptionally gifted athlete. We're excited for him. Dan, we should find out soon what's next for Waino, perhaps after today's ball game.
All right, Jimmy, thanks. What a story that's developed into. I don't think there's anybody here at the ballpark not polling for that guy especially.
No question. You love the numbers that he's putting up on his rehab stint so far. You love the fact that he's just healthy again, got an opportunity to help this ball club.
That ball foul. And not by much past Carpenter. Webb is second inning. Initially, I thought this was a fair ball. Square it goes over the bag.
That is about as close as you're going to get right there. Tough from that angle.
And if you're wondering, not reviewable until it gets past the umpire.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
Why? If we're going to do it, as far as replay goes, why not just do it?
Point well taken. We had Wainwright on the air the other night. He came up in the booth, and that was a lot of fun. I want to thank Adam, congratulate him on big league impact and impact that he's making here locally and outside the U.S. Two and two the count. Here's a 2-2. Hit to short, backhanded by DeYoung, and he makes the play. Webb has gotten 4 outs out of the pen, and our Budweiser What's on Tap. The Nationals note the start time as we come your way at 11:30. St. Louis time with the pregame show Tuesday and Wednesday at 5:30. It's an off day, and then head to the Motor City, Detroit, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. All the games on Fox Sports Midwest. Budweiser What's on Tap. Good work by Webb. Dominic Leone coming in from the bullpen for Mike Schultz Club. A 2013 National League Champions Mystery Player Ring. It's wearable, and it's presented by Edward Jones. It's coming up September 15th. Kurt Caselli to face Dominic Leone. This being his 4th appearance since coming off the DL. He's had 3 scoreless appearances and only 1 hit allowed.
Now he's looked very good. That slider of his so effective to both righties and lefties.
A Chevy called to the pen. You can see him kind of kicking at the dirt, the landing area. I'm sure that's always a balancing act, if you will, for a reliever coming in.
There are some times there might be a starter that lands in the same hole as you and you slide into it. You always got to figure it out. They do a great job here. Usually there's not much of a hole, but you might just catch a little edge.
Martinez calling off Garcia to make the catch. That's out number 2.
Look at this Cardinals bullpen. We've seen the turnaround, and now we're seeing this group get healthier. Leon coming back. Michael Wacha threw a bullpen today. Good chance that we're going to see him out in that bullpen. Carlos Martinez has been great in that role out there.
Here's the pitcher, Lucas Sims.
I think Tyler Webb did a fine job. Inning plus right there. There's a lot of opportunity on the left side in that bullpen right now. They're going to need it. You look at this division, all the big left-handed bats. Be nice for somebody to step up and just take a reins, take the reins of that role.
One and two. Sims has got a stance and a look like, hey man, I'm in here to do business.
That's right.
You can appreciate that.
I'm telling you, I really legitimately thought that I was going to hit a home run each and every time. Now the results were different after I stepped in the dugout every swing. I rolled over a lot.
1 for 16 in your career.
What? That's your guess?
Yep.
1 for 16? You know, I started for a while too.
1 for 16.
Oh, 1 for 16.
What are you?
Look, I'm not big in it. I've got 10 hits. Okay?
10, huh?
10. It's not a great average. It's around $170.
That's 10 hits in the big leagues.
No big deal. It's
First hit was off of who?
It was Schmidt.
Jason Schmidt?
Jason Schmidt from San Francisco. It was a line drive up the middle. I used Chris Carpenter's bat to get it. And Rip Rowan, the clubhouse manager at the time, now on the visiting side, said, hey, you want some bats? I say, yeah, give me whatever Carp's got. I need those.
You were 10 for 71. MLB moments happen. Budweiser will be there. By Ford, going further so you can. And by Barnes Jewish Hospital and Washington University Physicians, national leaders in medicine. DeYoung, Wisdom, and Bader. Folks on the Mississippi. A beautiful day here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Outfield straight away. DeYoung with a base hit to center and a run scored. We're tied 2-2. Carlos Martinez getting loose in the Redbird bullpen. And the 0-1. Nothing in 2. Wandy Peralta in relief of Deslafani, who went 3 2/3. Peralta got Carpenter, the final out in the 4th. Sims took over in the 5th, had a 1-2-3. And he's retired the first 4 that he's seen with a pair of strikeouts.
See that good slider again, just down and away. Brand new ball game, though.
Yep. Patrick Wisdom has walked, was caught stealing in the 2nd, and also popped out with 2 runners on. He's got 2 big league home runs. Both have been here at Busch Stadium. One and one. A lot of sliders from this right-hander. Two strikes on the Cardinal third baseman.
Well, we saw Patrick Wisdom the other night coming in as a part of a double switch late in the game when he did hit that home run, stayed on one. It was a little cutter away. Was able to drive it out opposite field, so he does a very good job of staying with it if he's going to go slider away.
It's 3 in a row. Love the game within the game, the pitch by pitch and the strategy that goes into it. Does he try to sneak a fastball by him, or is it another slider? Two and 2 the count. Might have gotten away with that pitch.
Yeah, good hack right there, just up in the zone. It's in, made it tough to handle. Seen a couple of fastballs now. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes right back to that slider away.
The 2-2 struck him out. So he's seen 5 and struck out 3 out of the Cincinnati pen.
Well, not exactly where he was trying to put it here, but he set it up well with the last couple of fastballs. Arm action the same. He throws that thing hard, 81 mile an hour, and catches Patrick Wisdom looking.
Harrison Bader. He struck out and also an RBI double. One ball and 1 strike. Cardinals have struck out collectively 7 times today. The 1-1. Another slider drops in, 1 and 2.
He's just getting in and throwing it, isn't it? Harrison Bader slowing him down a little bit. See Sims on the mound ready to roll.
And the 1-2. Another slider put in play. Bader out by a step. Top of the lineup for the Reds coming up. 2-2 our score. DeSclafani and Weaver did not go deep in this game. The two starters. Jeanette 2 for 3, the league's top hitter in terms of average. Greg Garcia 2 for 2 with a run batted in. And now the Cardinals go back to their bullpen, and it's Carlos Martinez and our Chevy call to the pen. Well, we said it a lot. This guy could be a weapon for the Cardinals coming out of the bullpen.
Well, he certainly can, and we know that he can give you multiple innings if you need it out of the pen. And he's also proven here recently he can go in back-to-back games. He pitched in the last two against the Pirates quite effectively. Talked to Mike Schilt the other day, asked him about Carlos's availability, how's he feeling, and he said he came into his office right after the second game, say, hey, I'm good to go tomorrow. Say, hey, we'll give you a little rest, big fella, you're good to go. But he has taken to this bullpen role. We've seen him do it in the past, and that's a great weapon. Certainly you'd love to see Martinez as a part of your rotation, but right now he can be a big boost throughout September and hopefully a long playoff run in this bullpen.
He'll get the top of the lineup. That's Billy Hamilton. And strike one. Peraza on deck. And Joey Votto. 2-2 our score. Reds jumped out to a 2-0 lead. Cardinals got 2 in the home half of the fourth. Jose Peraza caught that foul ball on the bunt attempt. And picks up a base hit into right. Is he thinking two? You bet. The throw into second base. Not in time. It's a double for Hamilton. The young pointing to the bench as if to say, make sure you take a look.
It's just freakish speed right there, and you could tell it seemed like he even sped up as soon as he hit the bag, just propelled himself off of it. Not too much more Jose Martinez can do right there. He gets to it, sees him going, turns and throws.
For most, that's just a routine single to right.
He's definitely in there. Speed is one thing, but knowing how, I mean, he takes perfect turns. He's very aggressive.
Here's Peraza, gets the bunt down. Wisdom to first. Hamilton advancing to third, and it brings in Votto. Against Martinez, Joey Votto this year, 12 plate appearances, 0 for 5, but 7 walks. He's walked twice today. Infield is drawn in. Scooter Gennett at the on deck circle. First pitch is strike. And the 0-1 now to Votto. A fly ball, plenty deep. That'll score Hamilton. And the Reds take the lead. 3-2 here in the top of the seventh. 57 runs batted in by Votto.
That aggressiveness of Billy Hamilton paying off early in this one. Looked like a routine single to right field. He turns it into a double, a bunt, and a pop fly later. The Reds got themselves a 3-2 lead.
Here's Scooter Gennett. Gotta wonder how deep Jose Martinez was playing for Billy Hamilton on that base hit to right, which turned into 2 as Carlos throws that ball out. .887 RBI for Joey Votto, and that's 7th all time in Reds history. And he's given the Cincinnati Reds a 3-2 lead here in the top of the 7th. And a ground ball taken there by Greg Garcia. And let's stretch. Greg Garcia leads it off when we come back. 3-2. Reds on top. BJC Healthcare difference maker, and this bunt turned out to be a base hit. Tied the game up at 2-2.
Garcia handles the bat so well. That was huge in that spot. First of all, to get the run in, but be able to get the knock. Take what they're giving you.
It's the Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. Matt Adams at the on-deck circle. He would pinch hit for Martinez. If this game was tied, you might see multiple innings out of Martinez, but that's not the case.
Lucas Sims has looked very good out of the bullpen so far, showing a feel for 3 pitches. See the changeup there, backdoor breaking ball before that. Going with the changeup again.
Big happy birthday to Brendan McGee. Cardinal fan Brendan McGee turns 11 today. And watching Cardinals baseball. Happy birthday, Brendan. 2-2 pitch. 3-2. Wish Sims works quickly too, doesn't he?
Yeah, gets it and throws it, and he's got a good feel for it. And when you're grooving like he is right now, you might as well just get back on the mound. Keeps your defense ready. Keeps the hitter off balance.
And it's a leadoff walk after falling behind Garcia. 0-2 as the count, draws a walk, and it brings in Adams. Matt's still looking for maybe that signature moment in his return to St. Louis.
Well, this would be a pretty good one right here. We talked about it last night. I think it's important for Matt Adams getting these reps that he's getting currently, as you see Jim Riggleman coming out to relieve Sims.
Jared Hughes had been throwing in the pen. That'll be it for Sims. The nice Reds debut. Hughes, one of the great speedsters in the game, coming in from the bullpen. It's Billy Hamilton-esque. 3-2 our score. Adams, who's 1 for 11 against this right-hander. It's our Chevy call to the pen.
Jared Hughes having a really good year. You're going to see a lot of sinkers out of him. He's been their fireman. If they need a ground ball, he's been the guy. 12 double plays he's got hitters to ground into this year.
His career as a pinch hitter, 285 with 9 pinch hit home runs. You think lefty, but that's Hughes' numbers against Matt Adams, and they're out of lefties.
Sometimes you go with what you got.
You know, but rosters expand, and maybe it gives you an idea of the depth that they have in their minor league system to not have a second lefty here in September.
Certainly. Amir Garrett, who's been a good one for them, is on the DL currently with foot issues.
1-1 ripped into a double play. Boy, oh boy. Couldn't hit that ball any harder.
Well, Matt Adam gets every bit of this and happens to be right at Joey Votto. Nothing you could do over there at first base. Not exactly the tailor-made double play that Hughes generally gets. The couple of bouncer, but gets another one, his 13th.
So here is Carpenter. 3 for 12 with a home run off of Hughes in his career. He walked back in the first inning and twice is grounded out to first. 5 hits aside, 3-2. Reds with the 1-run lead. The 0-1. You talked about it last night, the residual effect of taking good at bats against Iglesias, who's their closer. He had 28 pitches last night. We'll see if that has any effect on the right-hander getting into the latter stages of this game.
Well, you know, if this game gets deep and he's feeling okay, they're going to go to him, but you hope it just causes him to make a little bit of a mistake if you wore him down just a tiny bit.
2-1 the count.
Jared Hughes goes with the patented grunt changeup. I'm a fan.
The 2-1 pitch. 3-1. Molina on deck. Ooh, it catches the outside corner. Crowd today 45,743. 45743. The 21st sellout of the year. The 3-2 pitch to Matt Carpenter. And he hits it sharply to Votto again. We head to the 8th in a 1-run game. I was watching. I didn't really see anything. Obviously, they going to treat it with kid gloves when you talk about Dakota Hudson. But he said he's all right, so
play ball.
Move on. Here's Suarez, and the Reds leading 3-2. And the first pitch is strike. That pitch at 96. Chevy called to the pen. 16th appearance for Dakota Hudson.
Well, we talked about Tyson Ross earlier in the game, and he did a great job yesterday, eating up a lot of innings, looked fantastic, even picked up a knock. But we were talking about transitioning from the rotation to the bullpen. Well, that's one where we know that Dakota Hudson was putting up big time numbers in the rotation down in Memphis, had to make this transition, and not only a transition to a hey, you might get used every once in a while, to a hey, you're one of our guys in the pen. He's had to figure out how to get warm, and he is taken to this. I mean, he's done a fantastic job. You need a ground ball. He's been your fireman. It's fun to watch him go out there and do his thing.
The PCL pitcher of the year. In Double-A, he was the pitcher of the year in that league. Then the pitcher of the year picked up that honor this past week. 85% of the vote. The 2-2 pitch to Suarez. Inside. Cardinals in the bottom half of this inning will have Molina, Martinez, and Ozuna. 3-2 the count. Ground ball hit to short. Young up with it, and there's one away. And now it's time for Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. The work of Tyler Webb and also Dominic Leone coming out of the pen. Relief of Luke Weaver.
Well, a couple of guys just new to the bullpen, really. Webb recalled again, did a fantastic job last time up. Part of the September call-ups. Dominic Leone missed 98 games this year on the DL. Still trying to figure out, I'm sure, Mike Schilt, Mike Maddox, Brian Eversgerd, where they're going to slate in, where the best fit for these guys is. But you get a couple of talented arms back in the mix.
Here's Scott Schebler. First pitch, a ball. He's walked, he was hit by a pitch, and he struck out. The 2-0. This time of year when we come back and you're playing day baseball, those shadows do become a factor here at Busch Stadium in September and October. Edging closer towards home plate. And a 3-0 pitch. 1-out walk. You can see Hudson asking if that pitch was down. Dakota was not. It was a strike. Phillips 66 ticket vouchers. They're back and they're better than ever. Get up to 50% off on 8 tickets. Cardinals.com/Phillips66. There's Mason Williams. Grounded into a double play with the bases loaded against Weaver back in the first. Looks at a ball. He is struck out and grounded out.
See that 96, just heavy sink for Dakota Hudson. It's easy to see how he's had so much success in the minor leagues. That thing is tough to square up, and a great candidate for another double play.
There it is. Oh, nice play by Garcia. Safe at first, but he saved that ball from going into right field. There's 2 away.
Well, this ball here hit pretty hard here at Wisdom. Throw just carries Garcia off the bag. Does a very good job, as you said, of corralling it, still holding on the bag. Tries to make a strong throw over to first, but William beats him by a step.
Here's Kurt Casale. Outfield straight away. He's got a double, a ground out, and a fly out. Five hits aside in this game. Reds have stranded 7, the Cardinals 5, and it's 3-2 here in the top half of the 8th. And a fly ball into shallow right. Martinez makes the catch. Scoreless inning for Hudson. Coming up for the Cardinals, Yadier Molina, Jose Martinez, and Marcell Ozuna. Down by a run. Fan $6 tickets. Cardinals host the Pirates September 10th through the 12th. $6 TD Ameritrade tickets now at cardinals.com/TDA. It's a 1-run ball game, bottom of the 8th here at Busch Stadium. And the Cardinals have 2, 3, and 4 coming up against Jared Hughes. They'll face Max Scherzer tomorrow. Quick turnaround day baseball in Washington. And against Hughes, Molina 5 for 19 with a home run. And there's ball 1. Here's a 1-0. Cardinals have had 32 come from behind victories this year.
Well, we've seen a lot of them here recently. This team just figures out ways to get something done. I know Matt Carpenter has talked about it, but you can see in the way that they play, they never believe that they're out of something. They believe if somebody doesn't get the job done, that the next guy is going to. That's how you want to build your clubs.
The 2-1 pitch. 3-1 to the backstop it goes. A little tension here at the ballpark. Every game meaning so much. The Cubs, Scotty mentioned it, beating up on the Phillies. Milwaukee a 9-4 lead in the top of the ninth over Washington. And the 3-2 pitch now to Yadier Molina. Leadoff walk. The tying run is aboard, and the go-ahead run comes to the plate. It's been a tough day for Jose Martinez, but all could be forgotten with one swing of the bat.
That's it, and you know in his approach, he knows what's happened so far in this game, but you throw those ones away. You know what Jared Hughes is going to attack with. He's got the sinker, got the slider. It's all about staying on one. If he throws in that slider, we know that Jose Martinez is one of the best at driving one the other way.
Adolis Garcia will pinch run for Molina. I was wondering if Mike Schilt would do that in this spot, especially with expanded rosters.
Yeah, you've got a couple of catchers out there. You've got some speed that you can utilize. And I think it's a good move right here. Get Garcia out there. Base hit your first to third most likely.
You can see where the right fielder Schebler very deep. So base hit with the speed of Garcia. You would think first to third. Most definitely. First pitch to Martinez is taken for a strike. 5 of the 8 leadoff men in terms of the innings for the Cardinals have been aboard. And this is where, as you said, you got to make them pay.
Yeah, they've been able to cash in on it one time in the 4th inning. It's time to do so again.
Here's an 0-1 pitch to Jose Martinez. The 1-1, 2-1. Well, we've seen Mike Schilt in times that are not traditional counts to run or situations. He pushes. This would be gutsy here with a rookie and Garcia. Hitters count though 2-1. You never know. The 2-1 pitch to Martinez. And it's a base hit into left. Struck out 3 times and now picks up a single to left field. The Cardinals have something going here.
Well, he wanted the fastball, gets one here. Doesn't have that true sink that we've seen a lot out of Hughes, and he's able to get one there. And you see Jose Martinez happy, knows the way that the day has gone so far, and a bit relieved in this one. The Cardinals have something going in one of the biggest parts of this ball game.
Marcell Ozuna, previous plate appearance, looked to be locked in.
Had the foul ball down the line, driven just foul.
I think Jose's pointing. I see that person out there in the bleachers. Go ahead and give him a souvenir.
So you ever been to Ballpark Village? Want to put a ball there?
Yeah. Launch one. Lorenzen plenty loose. He's been up for a little bit now. Marcell Ozuna with runners at first and second. Good speed at second base in Garcia. He represents the tying run. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th. The first pitch to Ozuna instead of check on Adolis Garcia.
Well, we've seen the Reds attack Marcell Ozuna with fastballs in. Got hit on the hand earlier. Hughes does have that good sinker, but if he makes that mistake and leaves it over the plate, got a whole new ball game.
Ozuna hits it to the right side softly. Runners advance to second and third. Votto steps on the bag, and the batter is Paul DeYoung. A base hit could put the Cardinals on top. A fly ball, you've got a new ball game. They're going to load him up. Intentional walk here and pitch to Patrick Wisdom.
Well, Patrick Wisdom has already had a couple of nice moments in a Cardinals uniform. Memorable first hit against the Royals. His first home run, got the home run the other night. Has made some good plays. But this is as big of a spot as Patrick Wisdom has been in right here. And the fans are letting him hear it.
They're loaded up. 1 out, and the rookie. First pitch to Patrick Wisdom. Strike one. Bader on deck. This big crowd ready to erupt here at Busch Stadium. The 0-1 popped up. Votto, infield fly, catch made, and the Cardinals need a 2-out hit from Harrison Bader. Bader back in the 4th inning with a double that scored a run, got the Cardinals on the board.
We saw a couple of series ago against the Dodgers and the Rockies. It seemed like every time the Cardinals had 2 outs and had a guy up, they got that big knock, that 2-out RBI. They're going to need one here.
2 outs loaded up for Bader. First pitch is strike. That looked to be a ball. There's strike zone in the graphic that's up, and so it puts Bader in the hole.
Home plate umpire Ed Hickox has been giving that both sides of the plate off. Definitely looks like a ball, but he has been consistent back there.
And the 0-1 pitch to Harrison Bader. Ground ball slowly hit. He may beat it out. Tough play. He is safe at first, and the run scores. His speed brings in the run. We're tied 3-3. An infield hit with the bases loaded, tied 3-3.
Put it in play. Something good might happen. Harrison Bader gets jammed on this one, but he is flying out of the box and makes it happen with his speed yet again. And the Cardinals tie this thing late. Huge by Harrison Bader to be running out of the gates on that one.
And now it's Greg Garcia. He's been on base 3 times. The first pitch to him. Strike one. Bud Norris is up in the Cardinal pen. What an electrifying player Bader has turned into. Greg Garcia. And the 0-1. Nothing in 2 as he chased a ball. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Garcia. Puts it in play. Jeanette, a flip to second. And the out. And Bader is saying he may have been safe. Racing around the bag. They'll throw to the plate just in case. This is a really heads-up play by Harrison Bader. If he's running around the bag, not worried about being out and keeping himself in play to be safe and allowing the run to score. And he is out. But still thinking. That's a heads-up play.
I'm not sure I've ever seen that before. That was very intelligent right there. Didn't work out, but a smart move.
An infield hit by Bader, and a new game on this Sunday afternoon. And he drives in the tying run for St. Louis. 3-3 as we head to the ninth. Tucker Barnhart will be the batter, and Francisco Pena takes over behind the plate. I'm with you. I don't think I've ever seen a player round second base on a force play like that, realizing that if he's safe, the run will score.
Right.
So
you know that if you slow down, if you try to slide right there, you're out anyhow. He made it as bang as possible.
It's a heads-up play. Now Tucker Barnhart, second inning of work for Dakota Hudson, and this is one pitch, one out. Billy Hamilton's double. He would eventually come in to score. We're wondering if Martinez was playing deep. He got to the ball as quickly as he could. StatCast AI powered by AWS.
Billy Hamilton
7.34 seconds.
Is flying. I mean, that's a normal base hit to right field. It's a ground ball through the right side. That's one. That's how it's supposed to be. It's one bag. Makes it two.
And guys stop running at the bag at first base, realizing it's a routine single into right field.
But it's not like his speed is sneaking up on everybody. You'll see somebody every once in a while do a little deke move around first base and then turn on the jets. Martinez going after that ball hard in right field, and Billy Hamilton just going all out right off the bat, makes it into two, turns into a run.
Think of the speed of Billy Hamilton, the speed of Bader, speed in the game.
I like it.
Love it.
I enjoy that aspect of it. Now I like it more so when Bader does something than when Billy Hamilton does.
I get it.
But it's something, as you were talking about the heads-up move by Bader and utilizing the speed. We saw him run out the infield hit. I'm trying to think of the last time we really had that here, is that element of the game, and it really has been a while. We saw Tommy Pham bring some of that, especially when him and Sierra were called up at the same time in Atlanta. We saw a little bit, but this has been sustained for quite some time now with Harrison Bader.
Here's a 1-2 back to Hudson. Underhands to Carpenter, 2 away. Cardinals will have the pitcher's spot and then the top of the lineup before this one is through. We're tied 3-3, top of the ninth with 2 outs, and it brings in Jose Peraza.
Dakota Hudson just showing off that turbo sinker. Guys thinking that they're getting a good piece of this thing and just bores in on them, missing the barrels.
And pitching ahead.
Yes, he is.
Cardinals are left with Carson Kelly and Jairo Munoz right now on their bench. From the right side of the bullpen, St. Louis with Norris and Hicks. Ross, you would assume unavailable after last night. Left side, Cecil and Shreve. Michael Lorenzen continues to throw in the Reds bullpen. And the 1-1. 1-2. The 1-2 pitch just missed. The 2-2 and a high chopper to third, a fair ball. The strike from Wisdom. This big crowd, will they see the 11th walk-off win for the Cardinals this year? It's been fun at Busch. We're tied at 3. Picked up an infield hit that scored a run to tie it at 3-3. Archevy called to the pen. Michael Lorenzen. And now left on the bench for the Cardinals, with Munoz being used here. Carson Kelly, the last available bench player for St. Louis.
This looks like this is going to be our last half inning before those shadows are right over the plate.
The Hyundai pitch arsenal for Lorenzen. First pitch to Munoz. And strike one.
Tell you one thing we've seen out of the Reds today, and especially out of the bullpen, they are filling up the strike zone. Getting ahead, being able to work off of that. Pitching staff has done a very good job the last 2 days for the Reds.
And it's strike two. Michael Lorenzen was a two-way player at Cal State Fullerton, and you could tell he keeps himself in tremendous condition. I mean, this guy is put together.
Yeah, people often ask me, you know, who's a pitcher in baseball right now? They like kind of remind you of you. And I tend to point to Lorenzen.
And that's fair on an 0-2 pitch. Munoz on his way to second. Diving in head first, and there's your potential winning run.
Well, you have got an 0-2 count right here for Munoz. This pitch is up, and he just gets the bat to it somehow, some way, keeps this thing fair. And you've got nobody out. Runner on second base. You got to assume Matt Carpenter is probably going to be given the bag. He does. Intentional walk here for Matt Carpenter, but Munoz off the bench.
Let's see if the Cardinals how they want to play this with the bunt. And I do see a lot of similarities, by the way, with you and Lorenzen.
Right?
Well, you guys chew gum.
I used to love gum. One of my favorites.
Similar body types in approach.
I'm just glad you didn't go to the double down the line.
Well, let's think about this and how the Cardinals want to play it. You know, Pena, double play candidate. So that's certainly something Mike Schultz thinking about.
Certainly don't want to run yourself out of an inning either.
Right. Even the Cardinals bench clapping with the fans, banging on the dugout. It's a fun feeling going on right now here in St. Louis.
It is. It has been different here the last couple of weeks, and that feeling, it's going to keep getting better and better throughout September. These games are tight. This team never quits. They figure out ways to get it done. And Munoz getting it done there.
So the corner is in for Cincinnati. Francisco Pena at the plate. A beautiful bunt. Will it stay fair? It's fair, and the bases are loaded. He couldn't place it any better.
Dan, I could let you go out on the field, walk out there and drop a baseball, and there's no way you're going to be able to put it in as great of a spot as that. Pena does a fantastic job of just getting this thing down, keeping it fair, and running hard out of the box. There's nothing they can do but look at it, hope that it takes a roll their way.
Jim Riggleman will make a substitution. I believe that's Dixon who's in the game. And you'd think he'd go with 5 infielders here with the bases loaded, nobody out. And Busch Stadium right now is shaky. This place ready to erupt.
Well, we know yesterday offense was tough to come by. Castillo threw the ball very well early on in this one. DeSclafani throwing the ball great. Hard to get anything going, but this team just continues to battle. Got a couple in the 4th inning. Battle back, tied this game in the 8th. And now bases loaded, nobody out. And one of the hottest hitters around in Jose Martinez at the plate.
Jose Martinez had a walk-off hit, first ever in his career, a few weeks ago against Colorado. He'd love to add number 2. The Cardinals want their 11th this year. Jose Martinez with the bases loaded. And strike 1. The 0-1 pitch to Martinez. Nothing in 2. Ozuna at the on-deck circle. 3 infielders on the left side, 2 on the right side. It all started with a Munoz double on 0-2. Carpenter, the intentional walk. The bunt by Pena to load him up. The 0-2 pitch to Martinez. Put in play, foul.
Well, we've seen a lot of good things happen today for the Cardinals with 2 strikes just by putting it in play, making something happen. The infield, 5 guys in there. It's pretty well covered, but if you put something in play, you still got to make them make a play.
Munoz, the potential winning run. They're on their feet. The 0-2 spoiled.
We've seen Lorenzen try to extend the strike zone twice. Maybe he goes out there a little bit further and makes a mistake.
0-2 pitch, and he struck him out. So Martinez strikes out for the 4th time, and the batter will be Marcell Ozuna. We'll see how the Reds want to play it now. Traditional defense, or keep the 5 infielders on the infield. Marcell Ozuna has returned to the lineup here this afternoon, and he could cap it off in a memorable way. He had a walk-off homer July 30th against the Rockies. 1 out, bases loaded. Ozuna hitless today, was hit by a pitch, scored a run back in the 4th. The 1-0 pitch to Marcell Ozuna. Ground ball, hit to second, force play at the plate, and out. Munoz is out. And the Reds are 1 out away from getting out of this jam.
I'll put the pressure on. Nice play right there. Munoz is running hard.
You can see he had no intention of trying to turn 2. Wanted to make sure he got the out at the plate.
Oh, Munoz coming straight in, catches Casale there. Well, need another one of those big 2-out knocks here for the Cardinals. You'd hate to see this situation go by the wayside without a run.
And DeYoung on the first pitch hits it out of play. A golden opportunity for the Cardinals with the bases loaded, nobody out. Strikeout of Martinez, Ozuna, the ground out, the force play at the plate. 0-2 on Paul DeYoung. But Norris getting loose just in case. Lorenzen a strike away from a Houdiniac. The 0-2, and it's popped up in the outfield. Who wants it? It may drop. Oh, and the catch made. Jim Riggleman brought in and put 5 on the infield, and somehow they get out of it. We head to the 10th, tied 3-3. for the Reds, and they could not score. 3-3. Cardinals about hit the Reds 9-5. They've stranded 11. And now Bud Norris is into the ballgame for the Cardinals. Brewers beat the Nationals 9-4. Christian Yelich a grand slam, part of a 7-run fifth. Cubs beat the Phillies 8-1. Baez, Rizzo, Daniel Murphy all homered. And Baez the first in the National League to reach 100 runs batted in.
How about that year Christian Yelich is having? Unbelievable.
Probably deserves more talk in the MVP conversation. Here's Joey Votto, 3-3 our score. And not only did the Cardinals have the bases loaded, nobody out, they had 3, 4, and 5 coming up.
That was a great job by Lorenzen. Executing pitches, got the strikeout, got the ground ball.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Joey Votto. 1-1.
I'm not sure what the percentages are. I'm not a huge numbers guy, but I'd have to assume they're quite slim of bases loaded, nobody out, and getting out of it. I know in my career they certainly were slim.
And 3, 4, and 5 coming up. So here's a 1-1 to Votto. Missed in. And now the Reds have 3, 4, and 5 here in the 10th inning. Votto, Jeanette, and Suarez. Cardinals have Wisdom, Bader, and Garcia. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 10th, and they're left with one man on their bench, Carson Kelly. 2-2.
The Reds getting out of that. Gain a lot of momentum. It's important for Bud Norris. Have a quick one here. Get back in there. Put the pressure right back on them.
The 2-2. Outstanding job by Lorenzen. Raisel Iglesias getting loose and throwing in the Reds' pen. 3-2 the count on Joey Votto. He's already walked twice today.
Iglesias once again with the 28 pitches last night in the non-save situation. Jim Riggleman went to him with 2 outs in the 8th. He got out of it, but the Cardinals made him work a little bit. You hope that pays dividends if he finds himself in this ball game.
The stadium's gotten quiet after that great chance by St. Louis, and now a leadoff walk to Votto. Peraza with a couple of hits today. RBI single. It was in the first against Luke Weaver, and a base hit to right back in the 5th off of Tyler Webb. So Jeanette at the plate with Votto at first. And ball 1. I mentioned the shadows and how that becomes a factor this time of year. September, late into an afternoon here at Busch Stadium.
Makes it very tough for a hitter to pick up the baseball. You see it, then you lose it. You have other times in the year too where it'll go light, dark, light.
2-0. If you're Bud Norris, I'm sure as a closer you don't let your guard down. But boy, if there was a time to do it, it may have been last inning.
Well, yeah. Once again, going back to the percentages, you believe that's going to get done. You got bases loaded, nobody out. Another thing about Bud, you know that he's always ready for the spot. You know he can warm up very quickly. He'd been throwing anyhow.
And Jeanette swinging away on 2-0. Pops it up left side. Foul territory, playable for Wisdom. Here's Suarez. A walk today, over 3. Norris looking for a ground ball and a double play. Up and in. He's grounded into a team high 16. Said it before too, that can be a bit misleading where guys hit the ball so hard it turns into double plays.
We've seen a few of those already in this series. Just rockets hit at people and ends up being 2 outs.
And that's lifted out to deep left field, and it's a Reds lead. My goodness. My goodness. Home run for Suarez, and the Reds have a 5-3 lead.
Well, the Cardinals with every opportunity in the world to get something done last half inning. And Eugenio Suarez gets it done this half inning. You see right here the Budweiser play of the game. Little cutter here from Bud Norris that just stays up. And Suarez puts that great swing on it. 5-3, top of the 10th.
Here's Brandon Dixon now. Well, now you got a 2-run deficit at least, and looking at Raisel Iglesias. Here, a pin drop right now at Busch Stadium.
Lorenzo would be in line here for the W if in fact they do get this one. Unbelievable job by him. Bases loaded. The heart of the order up. And he ends up getting out of it. Strikeout, ground ball, pop up.
If he gets it, he earned it.
Yes, he did.
Still a ways to go, though. A ball and a strike on Brandon Dixon, who was brought into the ball game as an extra infielder for the Reds to put 5 on the infield with the bases loaded and nobody out. Suarez, the 2-run homer. What a way to pick up your 100th run batted in. And that's lifted out to left. Ozuna looks up and it's gone. Back-to-back homers and a 3-run Cincinnati lead.
Well, trying to go up in the zone. You see this thing just ends up belt high. 95. And Dixon gives it a ride.
So 1 out and nobody on. And a pitch taken high. Mason Williams at the plate. If the Cardinals do not come back, they face Max Scherzer tomorrow, and you know, it's easy to say, well, there's another game tomorrow. However, you're running out of games where every game is of greater importance, and this one would sting if they cannot come back. Two and one.
Still absolutely the possibility of coming back in this ball game, no doubt about it. The Cardinals have had some dramatic games, have had plenty of walk-off winners. The way I think about tomorrow's game is the Nationals have to face Jack Flaherty. That's going to be a good matchup.
Yep. Well, you're at 20 pitches now with Norris, so you got to think about the potential of a short turnaround save situation tomorrow and going back to Bud Norris. A 3-1 pitch. Now 3-2. Casale is at the on deck circle. I'm going to walk.
Well, Mike Maddox out to talk it over, likely to give Cecil a little bit more time out in the bullpen to get ready. As you said, with that quick turnaround, you want to make sure that Norris is ready, and in Norris's role as a closer, you want to get right back out there after a rocky one. Certainly wants to get out of this inning.
Here's Kurt Casale with one out and a runner at first base. Nothing at 2. And the pitch count, as we talked about, getting up there, 25 for Bud Norris.
He's had a couple days off. Figured he'd probably get a little bit of work anyhow, but I want to get him out of here soon. Nice pitch right there.
Held on to by Pena. That's out number 2.
We see this breaking ball just down in the zone. Good arm action right there. Kept it middle so you can get the swing, but right under the strike zone.
And Mike Schilt will go to his bullpen here. And Cecil coming on with 2 outs. The ball game 35th appearance, roughed up last time out. And Phillip Ervin at the plate with 2 down and a runner at first.
Talked about Bud Norris ready for next time out. Tomorrow could be a safe situation. They're going to need him. That's the reason he ends up coming out of this one. And him wanting to get back out there after a rocky one. I'm sure Brett Cecil feels the same way on Friday. Just the third of an inning, 3 runs, a couple of walks.
Garcia to his left, and the inning top half comes to a close. 6-3 our score. Raisel Iglesias, 56th appearance for the Reds. It went right. He's very, very good.
He is very good. Made him work last night. 28 pitches in the game. He ends up going an inning and 2/3. So back-to-back here. Coming into last night's, had given up runs in 3 straight games. But he has got a bigger cushion than expected here with this 3-run save he's trying to get. I meant to ask you earlier, Dan, what time are you picking me up for that speaker series?
Begins at 11:30. I'll probably get you 9-ish.
All right.
But I would be up really early just in case I want to go early.
I always plan ahead.
Okay. And a strike to Wisdom. I'd probably, if I were you, 5:30, 5:45.
All right.
Just in case.
Well, you probably want to get a coffee on the way in, huh? A little bonding time. I get it. I'm in. I'm a team player.
Be a blast. Here's the 0-1. Phillip Ervin in left field for the Reds. .76 pitches thrown in his last 5 days.
Well, if you're going to catch him, maybe this is the time.
And the 1-1.
See Iglesias go right to the dirt. Lost his grip on that. Going to get some rosin. This thing just slips right out of his hand. Just slider. No intent there, obviously.
The 2-1 pitch. 3-1. And it's a leadoff walk. We show you the graphic of all the pitches thrown, and that does have a way of coming back to haunt relievers. Now the cushion is 3 runs.
Yep.
But you get the point.
Well, you're looking to chip away right here, get something going.
Here's Bader, one of the more exciting plays of the afternoon for the Cardinals. Legged out an infield hit to score a run to tie the game. Greg Garcia at the on-deck circle. And that's a ball.
At this point, you're going to be selective. You're going to make him come to you. Harrison Bader not one swing away from tying this ball game. You know, let him throw a strike. Prove that he can at this point.
And there it was, and he went after it. 1 ball, 1 strike. The glancing blow off the catcher's mask.
Harrison just missing that one.
One and 2. In the air, left center. Ervin back and with room. Wisdom tagging up from first to second base. The batter will be Garcia, with Carson Kelly, the final position player, available, going on deck. Jordan Hicks standing in the pen just in case. So 1 out and a runner at second base. This is similar to what you were talking about. Pitcher in the sun, then the shadows, the batter back in the sun.
Yeah, I recall back in the day, hitters didn't like that too much. Albert wasn't the biggest fan of this time of the day playing in it. I loved it.
Made it very tough on the offense. I remember Lance Berkman, just the Cardinals would have 3:15 Saturday games and starts, and you know, he went to the front office and was vocal about it to the point that he thought that a player could get hurt because they couldn't pick up the baseball. So, for instance, Iglesias to Wisdom on a ball that got away, wouldn't pick it up until it was too late.
It seems silly until you stand in the box and realize what they're talking about. It is different.
A lot of English on that ball, but handled. Run scores. Now 6-4. Carson Kelly, the batter. Well, you try any way you can to get on base with the man on deck, and that's Carpenter. And the first pitch is strike. Well, the thought was at the beginning of the season, Carson Kelly would be your backup catcher. One and two.
It's hard when you have a young prospect like Kelly, a guy that you know you need to get at bats for. He needs to get reps behind the plate, and then you have Yadier Molina, who catches every day. Made the decision. Carson goes down to the minor leagues and just works on his craft, gets better and better, and when the opportunity comes, see what he can do with it. But he's handled it very well.
2-2. Well, you got to think you're going to get a fastball here with Carpenter on deck.
For sure. I mean, he is going to try to come at you. Don't want to get in that position.
3-2 pitch. Fouled back by Kelly.
Kelly likely to get another one here.
Fouled back again. Three-two pitch. Fouled back again.
Couple of fastballs fouled off, went with the slider right there, shook 3 times to get there. Dangerous pitch at this point. Iglesias does have good feel for it. He's shown in the past a bit erratic early on in this one.
Draws the walk. 9-pitch at bat by Kelly. It's still not over.
It's a good at bat right there. Just keep battling. Couple of fastballs away, able to foul it off. Slider away, able to foul it off.
A couple of those sliders at that 9-pitch at bat to Kelly, they were spinning.
Yes.
And if you do that to Matt Carpenter, left-handed batter, it's spinning. One swing, this game could be tied.
Number 36.
Wouldn't that be something? Carpenter 3 for 13, 3 doubles, couple of strikeouts. And the league leader in home runs, at least one more plate appearance. Iglesias, 28 pitches in the ball game last night, 21 and counting here. So 2 outs. And the first pitch, a ball. Francisco Pena on deck. You got to wonder if they told Iglesias, look, if you walk Carpenter, I understand it's the tying run at first base, but it may not be the worst thing. And it's no disrespect to Francisco Pena, but the league leader in homers is at the plate.
It's all about matchups. It's you're at the point where you're going to have to make him hit your pitch.
Right.
You're going to be around the zone, maybe not necessarily in it. But who knows? You can make mistakes trying to do that too.
Yeah,
He's
they're going to just put him on. That's the kind of respect they have for Carpenter, to put the potential tying run at first base and the winning run at the plate. That's respect right there.
It's probably a good idea.
Agreed.
As well, I mean, and Pena, we saw it last time up, dropped an incredible bunt just right on the line. Handles the bat really well, but as you said, he's not the MVP candidate. That's Matt Carpenter over at first.
Pena with a couple of home runs this year. Outfielders straight away and the crowd back into it. Jose Martinez on deck. The 0-1. Just watching Iglesias, it's not as sharp. He's probably on fumes. He's been working a ton, and one mistake. Cardinals have some damage here in the 10th. 2-1.
Iglesias has that low arm angle anyhow. He kind of slings it from that low 3/4, but we've seen him just get around a lot of pitches here recently. You mentioned the spinning sliders, cross-firing his fastball right now. All it takes is one.
The 2-1 pitch. Pena serves it out to deep right field, and the catch is made on the track. And the Reds win a wild one here at Busch Stadium. 6-4, our final in 10 innings.
Well, the Cardinals dropped this series. Do not make history. Tried to win 11 series in a row. Didn't happen. Had golden opportunities, but head on out. They've had a tremendous season thus far. Keep it rolling.